Today we're at Rock Island State Park and we're going to shoot a cascade with long exposure using a neutral density filter. And we're going to go through how we accomplish that. A few things you're going to need. A remote. This is a wireless remote, $10 on Amazon. A camera that allows you to do manual focus, set your aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. And of course, a neutral density filter. I always use a 10-stop neutral density filter. It's a Lee filter. This is called the Lee Big Stopper to be precise, and I'll link to that below. The thing there is, we will shoot, you have to know what stop ND filter you're using. So it's 10 stops. That's 2 to the 10th power, which is 1024. That's going to be a multiplier we'll use here in just a second. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to frame your shot and get it framed in the camera, and I've done that. I've set my ISO to 50, my aperture to f11, so I can get a great depth of field and not get too far out there. And aperture priority told me with those two settings, I needed a 30th of a second for a shutter speed. Now we're going to take that 30th of a second and we're going to multiply it by 1024, and that gives you 34 seconds. So what we're going to do now is switch it over to bulb mode. And we've got the ISO set up for 1/50th of a second, the aperture at f11. And now we're going to just use our remote and we're going to manually time 34 seconds. Now your camera may have the ability to have a timer on it that shows, mine does not. And we're going to go ahead and put the neutral density filter on, being very careful not to adjust that focus. So we've got manual focus, if I didn't mention it, so you want to be sure your autofocus is turned off on your lens. Or if it's handled inside your camera, turn it off on your camera, and you want to manually focus. It's very important because once this neutral density filter goes on, your camera has a hard time seeing. Although in live view, most of the time it'll brighten it up if everything's correct. So let's go. Here we go. This was a 30-second shot, so we got close. One thing to notice, you'll have to be in bulb mode to go over the 30-second time exposure for most cameras. And I'm fairly pleased with that. I'm not too displeased. What I want to do is I'm going to take a look at the histogram. And I have blown out the sky. The sky is too bright, and the cascade where the white is too bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it down, because you can never recover, you cannot recover detail from blown out, from highlights that are blown out. So they're too bright, they're just solid white. So we're going to take down the exposure limit, say to 25 seconds. Let's knock it on down to 24 as it starts to rain. Let's make it 20 seconds. Here we go. Got our picture back. We're still quite a bit blown out, although we're exposing, so we're going to do this again. We are going to take the shutter speed on down to 10 seconds. And that's part of this. When you have bright clouds, bright puffy clouds like we do today, you've got cascades and really dark water. A lot of times when you set up that aperture priority to get that basic shutter speed, that base shutter speed I call it, to do this, sometimes it's off. And this is what you do. You just keep backing it down till you do not blow anything out. So there we are. Still blowing it out. Back to F11. And we are going to take that shutter speed on down a little further. Review the photo. We've still got a little bit, but our histogram is crunching over to the left. And I wish I could get a good view of that. We'll get a picture of that for the video. So we're going to drop it down just a little more. 5 seconds. Now, in the meantime, you want to be sure that your camera is level when you do your framing. That's really aggravating. In long exposures, framing is pretty critical, and you don't want to have to get back and rotate, because then you're going to lose pixels, and that's just a big waste of time. So let's see. Okay, now we've got the opposite problem, which is okay. We've got some spots that are too dark. Just some very small spots, not too worried about it. And there you go. That's how you do a long exposure with a 10-stop neutral density filter of a waterfall or cascade. And hope you enjoyed this.